Hello everyone, let's finally start our journey on the security architecture. And to start, we are gonna focus on the public network where the services will be available for the public, right? And when you are talking about secure architecture, the most important part, I think it is the authentication flow. And basically that's where we're gonna focus on this first part of our course. So you can see here that we are gonna basically cover identity provider. We are going to have an authentication gateway. We are going to cover some tools, protocol, patterns that is usually used on the authentication flow. And the first lesson that we're going to get on this course is that we will need the identity provider where we will actually manage your users and manage also the authentication flow, what type of protocol they're going to be using and things like that. So the first lesson here that I want you to understand that it's very unlikely that you're going to be implementing this flow by yourself, because one very important lesson on the security is that you should always follow standards and patterns to implement secure products. And the best way to adhere to these patterns and the protocols, it is actually leverage from open source projects. So the first thing that you're going to be learning on this course, that you're going to actually use a identity provider from the community. And one that I like, it is the Keycloak one, which is our open source identity and access management, which provides a lot of functionality, things like single sign-on, identity broker, and social login. You can use user federation, where basically you can retrieve your users from different sources. You have a very rich admin console as well. You can do a lot of configuration. And we have the account management console. It follows standard protocols and provide most of them, things like OpenID Connect, WAL 2, and SAML. We will actually implement OpenID Connect as our protocol because it's the most modern and wide used in the industry. So you can see that it also provides different services here: single sign-on, standard protocol, centralized management, and then LDAP connectors, and so on and so forth. So this is a very good project. So when you are implementing a authentication for your distributed system, I really recommend this Keycloak option. So it's open source, but you'd have to host it yourself in your infrastructure. And if you want to not bother with this part, you can actually use third-party identity providers where you basically pay as you use, right? So, and they will host, and you do have to just set up your things. So one example is OAuth 0. I think it's the most famous one, but there is many others, right? So that it would basically provide what you have here on Keycloak, but you would not have to bother with the hosting part of it. So this is basically to cover this identity provider. Then we are going to actually see how we can start using Keycloak for that. And I will continue the next.